everyone, this is Kelly Janae, and you are watching the Reducing the Dosage series on ethereal ecology. So as you may know, if you follow this channel, I got off of Lamotrigine, or Lamictal, which is a mood stabilizer, about a year and 2 months ago, so 14 months ago. And since then I haven't really posted many videos about this topic because I've been living my life ebbing and flowing with what is. And yet I'm starting to feel really called to make this video today because I've had some really major improvements in my mental and emotional health this year based on some certain changes that I've made that I really want you all to know about. So today I'll be talking about a couple of things. The main thing that I want to talk about is how zinc supplements absolutely have changed my life. The second thing is just talking about herbal remedies and how herbal medicine can really be an amazing ally, especially for people who are getting off of medication and for those who do not want to take medication because of the impacts that they know it has on their bodies. And finally, I want to talk about birth control and how hormones can really impact a quote-unquote mood disorder and also misdiagnosis of a mood disorder, and creating a little more awareness around, as women, our own responsibility to make choices that are empowering for us in terms of having a healthy hormonal balance, especially as that pertains to our emotional and mental health. So, yes, everybody, I started to see a homeopathic doctor, and this was after many months of being in the deepest dumps. It's like, man, you think you can't go into deeper dumps, and then you just find yourself there, like, no, or I do at least. And that happened this year where, oh man, like the external circumstances have just wiped me out, and I was, struggling with finding a place to live all year long, and had just all this blame and judgment and fear and anger about all of it, that I was just spiraling I don't want to say out of control, but I was spiraling into a rabbit hole of just really wanting to die. I just really didn't want to be here because it was so painful to even look at my situation. I couldn't see it with compassion. And anyway, so I was ending up in this like really deep, dark place where I was just cycling through anger and rage and sadness and grief and suicidal urge and just getting really close to an edge. I was really having an impact on my family and on my loved ones' relationships. And I started to really realize, dang, like, I don't want to keep feeling this way because it's starting to impact my family. It's starting to make them concerned and make them worried and make them feel unwell. And the same thing for my loved ones. I didn't want to lose my partner, and I didn't want to compromise all the work that I've done to cultivate love in my life. And so I got very motivated. And actually the first thing that I did, because I wasn't sure yet what to do, was I called my psychiatrist and I said, hey, I feel like I need to get back on Lamictal just to balance myself out while I figure myself out. It took many calls to the suicide hotlines thinking that I would need to go into like a, not a psychiatric ward, but like a mental health facility for like 2 months. Like, I was ready to sign myself up for a program and quit life just to get better. But it turns out I didn't need to do that. I got some Lamictal and I started taking it for a couple days, and then it just didn't feel right. I was like, it still doesn't feel right. And so, I calmly realized, I'm like, oh wait, I'm an energy healer. I'm a psychic. I'm a channel. I can tune in with my body and I can see what she needs. That's a very empowering thought that our healthcare, quote unquote, system would not ever advise you to do, to trust yourself. But I will say that trusting thyself and what you need for your body is one of the key parts of getting better. And so I did that. I remember vividly, I was laying in my hammock and I was tuning into my body, and I was seeing how my body responded to different chemicals, because we actually can call different chemicals into our body without even taking them physically, because we're mostly spiritual beings. The physical is just the most dense part of our connection to the earth realm. So I called in Lamictal and I just felt this constriction, and my brain felt like it was just closed off and calcified. I did not feel good at all. Like, this isn't helping. Then I intuitively started asking about other things. I was like, what about ashwagandha and St. John's wort? And it guided me to take ashwagandha tinctures twice a day, take St. John's wort capsules, shatavari, bring that into your system. Think like tulsi, holy basil, amazing for me, and just lemon balm, and all of these incredible tinctures, plant medicines that can be made in my backyard or bought, from a local person and used in my daily practice. I just was not consistent with my herbal supplements up until this point, until it got freaking serious. So I really started to get serious about, okay, I've got my pill box and I'm taking all my supplements. But there's one specific supplement that I'm taking now that I will say for a fact has changed my life. And that, my friends, is zinc. Zinc. So I started to see a homeopathic doctor, and she sat with me for, 2 hours, and I got to tell her everything about my mood instability, my depression, anxiety, anger, rage, can't get out of this cycle, feeling lost, feeling suicidal, hard to focus, hard to get things done, just like, all the fear and everything. And she suspected, because apparently she's seen this before in women, is that I had a zinc deficiency. And so she sent me to get a blood test, and yes, I did have a zinc deficiency. I had about half as much zinc in my body as is considered normal and healthy. And zinc is apparently very good for helping people relax. So it somehow connects to like the GABA molecule, which is really like that relaxation molecule. And I don't know as much about the science as I'd love to, but what I can say is that it's a micronutrient for the body that really helps with balance and nervous system regulation. So I started taking zinc supplements. I take 50 milligrams a day at least. Right now I'm taking 75 milligrams a day. This is 50 milligrams of zinc picolinate. There's like different kinds of zinc in terms of how it's processed and how bioavailable it is. So you may want to do some research on that. But this is something that she prescribed for me. And then also there's, the zinc primer 25 for 25 milligrams. So I'm taking 75 milligrams right now. I've been taking zinc for 3 or 4 months now, and I mean, it's completely changed my life. It took me from being in a constant state of anxiety and fear. It's funny because, like, before now I wouldn't have said that I was in a constant state of anxiety, but I realize now that's most of what I was dealing with was, like, my nervous system was constantly on high, and my life circumstances weren't helping, but certainly that was my baseline. And so it's just calmed me down, grounded me, helped balance out and nourish my nervous system, and I can feel the effects in my life. My mood cycles are not as unexpected. I wake up in the morning feeling well. I mean, I was waking up every morning feeling like absolute crap. Like, oh my God, I have to wake up again. I feel horrible, and now I actually wake up feeling like a healthy human being. Yeah, I can say that these supplements absolutely have changed me, and that I really must have had a chemical imbalance that was not being treated at all using psychiatric medication. I don't really understand, honestly, the logic behind psychiatric medication. It really is mostly based on a belief system that there's something wrong with people's brains and that we need to fix it. No, I don't really believe that. I feel that there's more gentle ways to honor our body chemistry needs. And of course people are going to have deficiencies because a lot of our food nowadays, it doesn't have the same nutrients as it used to when we had healthy soil on this planet. And it's just the way it is right now with industrial agriculture, and even on organic farms. There's just certain minerals that we're missing, and regardless of what we take into our bodies, we all have different biochemistry and different DNA, and so we may not be able to assimilate nutrients like other people can. So I want you to know, first of all, that you may not have a zinc deficiency, and we may not have the same, we definitely don't have the same biochemistry. But what I want to share and why I'm sharing this is because I really truly believe that mental health and emotional health issues can, first and foremost, be solved and addressed with herbal intervention and natural supplement intervention. I really encourage people to question a psychiatrist or a doctor's impulse to prescribe medication for something that really doesn't require that amount of intrusive intervention. We're natural beings, and coming back to the earth and coming into a more gentle, compassionate, listening state of how can I nourish myself with what's already available on the earth. This, I feel, is it's a way more natural and less intrusive, less harmful way to butterfly to love ourselves, which is what we want to do. That's what we're doing when we seek help, is we're loving ourselves and we're taking care of ourselves, which is our responsibility. Yes, I'm doing so much better because of this magical zinc, and I'm going to take another blood test soon and see where I'm at with that, but I imagine it's probably higher. And my homeopathic doctor is helping me out with just some other homeopathic remedies, so I'm testing those out and seeing how that's helping me as well. So that's the zinc and a little bit about the herbal supplements. Like I said, I really, really want to encourage a shift of mind state in people who are working with mental, quote unquote, illness. And yes, like there's such thing as mental illness. I would know. I've been in that state where it's like, I can't get out. This is sick. I'm sick. My emotional body is sick. And as an energy healer, I can also feel into that on an energetic level, because we've got physical, emotional, mental, and then, beyond all these different layers to who we are, how we are as intelligent beings, conduits of life force energy between the earth and the universal forces. We're really magical, and our bodies are absolutely intelligent. And so there are so many non-intrusive ways to heal ourselves. And for me, accessing a physical remedy was very important. And it also took me a long time because I was very jaded from my experiences of working with healthcare where they want you to take things. And I'm like, no, it's the energy. I need to just change my mindset, my belief systems, clear patterns, clear blockages, bring in new life, new beliefs. And that has worked. But there's, both and needs to come into the picture, because I am a physical being. And as it turns out, if the physical is in alignment, then also the spiritual and the mental can't be either. And I also want to point out the stigma around mental illness. And I actually had an experience recently where I was still really struggling with my own feelings and how intense they were, and seemingly all the time. But I just had this light bulb moment where I'm like, what if I took the blame and the self-judgment out of my experience? What would happen? Would it get easier? And in that moment, I think I just purified. Like, I was ready to just purify all the judgment I had about myself for how I felt and my situation. And I swear to God, I've been so much better ever since. I'm like, oh, there's actually nothing wrong with me. It's just something I'm going through and working through. And a lot of this, I'm telling you, is out of our control in a way. It's really, a lot of it's out of our control. It's a paradox because it's out of our control and it's our responsibility and all of that. But yeah, just getting rid of the stigma. And don't let people tell you there's anything wrong with you. I'm sorry. You can even say to yourself, there's something wrong with me. And you can use that as a catalyst to go get help. But there's a different way to see it. It's, oh, I'm not feeling well. I would like to feel better because I love myself. And that's the intention you want to be with. I want to love myself. Not, I want to fix myself. No. That's based on a culture of self-hatred and self-rejection, and also a culture of teaching people to rely on an outside force and authority for their answers, for our answers. That's not working. So that's been my journey, is coming back into my body, trusting myself regardless of how many times people tell me I'm wrong, and sticking with it. And that is what's building confidence in my body. That's what's healing me, and that's what is guiding me to the truth of what is actually needed for me to feel better. So finally, after that, I'll talk just a little bit about birth control. Very shortly after I got off of Lamotrigine, I actually also got off of birth control, which I was on for about 10 years, and it really messed with my cycles a lot. I wasn't having any. I realized, I'm like, that doesn't seem natural for me, and I would really like to get back on track with my cycles and tuning into my femininity and really allowing my energy and my emotions to flow naturally. I did that, and it took me a couple months to get back to normal. But yeah, I really do feel that had a great impact. The hormonal changes in my body, allowing emotion and the life pulse to just be what it is and not judge it. I really do feel like mood disorders also have a little bit more stigma for women, And it's such an unrealistic expectation to ask anybody, male or female, but especially women, to be like this all the time, like constantly just nothing wrong, you know, like that's the baseline that we're going for. Excuse me, I'm not a robot. I don't want to be a robot. I didn't come to this planet to be a robot automaton to just go into the system and okay, you know, no, absolutely not. So I have been liberating myself by taking away these binds that are disguised as something good for people. And, you know, if birth control works for you, awesome, great. Trust me, I understand why it exists. Trust me, I do. But for me, it's something I wanted to liberate myself from and find natural ways to track my cycles and manage, you know, my fertility and all of that. So I also take Shatavari, which is a really awesome herbal supplement for women in our cycles, and I've found it to be very helpful. So that's another thing that I just feel that may have had an impact on me as an adolescent, because I started when I was 16 being on it, and it just continued on, and I really feel like that was a very pivotal time in my development. It's changing my body. I feel more like in my body and more mature and more grounded and in alignment with my own flow. And of course also compassionate and non-judgmental of my flow, because it is natural, and just coming back again to those natural cycles that we are a part of. There you have it, everybody. That's the long update and what I've been up to, what I've been doing in terms of my healing process that's really been helping. I did also go to the Barbara Brennan School of Healing for an entire year, which absolutely has contributed to where I'm at today as well. Thank God for energy healing. If you're working on getting off of Lamotrigine or another psychiatric medication, check in with some holistic healthcare practitioners. Find what works for you. Find some support. You're really not alone. You really aren't. There's people out there who have expertise, and I invite you to really release any limiting beliefs about who you are, how you are, what's wrong with you. Nothing's wrong with you. You're perfect. You're beautiful. You're unique. You're a star. So with that, I send you all the most heartfelt of love, and I wish you well on your healing journeys. Peace and love to you.